Hey everybody, Daniel here. Happy Sunday morning. We're continuing a series today that we started a couple weeks ago, focused on what do we believe and why. What do we believe and why? Because many Christians, we believe a lot of things, but sometimes we don't know why. We don't know why we believe it. And so when someone questions us on what we believe, and we don't know why we believe it, we're kind of like confused, or we might be drawn towards what everyone else is saying because we don't know why we believe it. And so that's what we're going to be digging through these weeks and looking at, okay, what do we believe and why do we believe it? All right, biblically, why do we believe it, and otherwise. And so the first thing I thought I'd start off with is God. All right, what do I mean by that? It's like, why do Christians believe in God? We believe in God, but why? Why do we believe in God? Yes, Scripture straight up says there's God. All right, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. There's no question in Scripture of God's existence. All right. But when we step outside of Scripture, people question God. All right, you got stuff like, you got renowned atheist Richard Dawkins, who wrote a whole book called The God Delusion. All right, the whole idea is that basically God is a delusion. He doesn't exist. You got another atheist, famous atheist by the name of Sam Harris, who states basically there is no God, and you all know it. And he goes on to say the biblical God is a fiction. And so we got to ask ourselves, okay, we believe in God, but why do we believe that there's a God? Is there evidence that there's a God? Yes, there's lots of evidence for why we believe there's a God. Not just a God, the biblical God. And so I want to point out just one argument. All right, one argument today. It's called the cosmological argument. There's other things, yes, other arguments, other things, but I want to point out one, the cosmological argument. It goes like this. It says, everything that began to exist has a cause. The universe began to exist. Therefore, the universe has a cause. Okay, go with me here. All right. The first statement is everything that began to exist has a cause. Pretty straightforward statement. All right. Everything that began to exist has a cause. What do we mean by that? This chair I'm sitting on, it began to exist. Something caused it. All right, it has a cause. You began to exist at some point. Something caused you to begin to exist. We're not going to get into that, but you understand where I'm going with this, okay? And so it's pretty obvious. Everything that began to exist has a cause. All right, and the second statement now is the universe began to exist. This is where the chunk of the argument is, because some people try to argue, oh, the universe is eternal, so it never began to exist. But the more and more scientific developments happen, the more and more discoveries happen, the more is obvious and are seen clearly that the universe began to exist. Let me just point out one example of this. This is in 1929, Edwin Hubble. All right, you might be familiar with him, you might not. You can look him up. He discovered the expansion of the universe. Or he's one of the people that really emphasized and showed the expansion of the universe from what he discovered, which is he discovered this redshift lights, which showed that the universe or galaxies were moving away from each other. All right, they're moving away from each other. They're expanding away from a singular point in the past. So what does this mean? It means that the universe isn't eternal, but rather had a beginning point and it's expanding outward, and it's expanding. That shows that the universe is not eternal. All right, even Stephen Hawking, which many people might be familiar with, he says almost everyone now believes that the universe and time itself had a beginning. All right, so we see that everything that began to exist has a cause. We're seeing now clearly that the universe began to exist. Now we got to ask ourselves, what caused the universe? The universe had a cause. Now we got to ask ourselves, what caused the universe? Well, we know that nothing can cause itself. You didn't cause yourself. This chair didn't cause itself. It's something outside of it. A person made this chair, machinery, whatever. Something outside of it created it. It's the same principle with the universe. The universe can't create itself. Something outside of the universe had to create the universe. Right? And so therefore this something had to be spaceless. Right? This had to be timeless. It had to be immaterial because it's not part of the universe. It had to be very powerful or all powerful to create everything. And so what does all this point to? All right? What does all this point to? I love this quote. I believe it's by William Lane Craig. He states that there's an uncaused personal creator of the universe. He exists. All right? Beginningless, changeless, immaterial, timeless, spaceless, and enormously powerful. And this is what we refer to as God. All right, so the universe exists because God created the universe, as we saw in Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the universe, heaven and the earth. Therefore, the belief in God, as Christians have, is not irrational or stupid, but actually best lines up with the reality that we see. And so that's what I want to point out to us today. We believe in God because there's lots of evidence of God's existence in the Bible and outside the Bible. And I just wanted to point out one of the arguments, cosmological argument, that everything began to exist. Everything that has a beginning has a cause. The universe had a beginning, therefore it had a cause. And the best explanation for that cause is something that is spaceless, timeless, immaterial, powerful, and that best points to God, the biblical God. And we're going to see that more. And so next we're going to look into more, what does this God look like? Not physically, what does this God act like? Who is this God like? What is he like? And so I hope you guys have a good day, and we'll be digging into more next week. All right? Have a blessed day.